بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد. From the virtues of Allah Azza wa Jal upon us is the ni'mah of al-Islam. He completed our deen for us, and He completed His favors upon us by giving us al-Islam. And that ayat was revealed, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was performing Hajj. So it was only a few weeks back, because we are now in Muharram. So Dhul Hijjah, when he was performing Hajj, that ayat came down, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all of these days are connected, and all of these months are connected. So we want to take today's time to remind you and to encourage you, our shabab here, our women upstairs, everybody, of the importance of being aware of these days and fasting the next few days, inshallah, and other days outside of this month, bi-idhnillah. So it's a ni'mah from Allah. Rasulullah performed Hajj, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and after performing Hajj, he would come out to his companions on multiple occasions to make important announcements at different times and at different places. And one of the announcements he made, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that he told them, "Ala inna az-zaman qad istadara kahayati yawmi khalaqa Allahu as-samawati wal-ard. السنة 12 شهرا منها 4 حرم 3 متواليات ذو القعدة وذو الحجة والمحرم ورجب مضر." He told the people, what was collected by the Imam Bukhari, a Muslim, during the days of Hajj, verily the time and the months, they have aligned back up. Istadara. They came back in line and everything is in order once again. It got out of sync and it got out of whack. But now that al-Islam conquered everything, and he conquered Mecca, and his religion is going to spread, and he was going to die soon, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told them that the time, the zaman, has lined back up like the day Allah created the heavens and the earth. He said the year in al-Islam is 12 months. From those 12 months, 4 of them are sacred. He mentioned those sacred months. The 11th month, which is Dhul Qa'dah. The 12th month, which is the month of Al-Hajj, called Dhul Hijjah. And then this month, the first month of the Islamic calendar, Al-Muharram. And then the 4th month is the month that is called Rajab. And he called it Rajab of the tribe of Mudar, because they used to really glorify this month, and they saw some special stuff with them in this month. So he, sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam, mentioned this is really important, because the kuffar of Quraysh used to play with the time. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا تسبوا الدهر فإن الله هو الدهر يقلب ليله ونهاره. Do not curse the time, because Allah is the time. It is Allah who changes the night into the day and the day into the night. So the kuffar of Quraysh, if some musibah or catastrophe happened to them, someone died, they lost a battle, he lost his arm, they would say, may the curse, la'na, may the curse be upon the time. May the curse be upon this day. May the curse of Allah be upon that week or that month or that year, because there was a drought. So the Prophet said that to them and told them sallallahu alaihi wasallam, akramakallah, don't curse the time, because Allah is time, meaning when you curse the time, you are indirectly cursing Allah. He told those companions, none of you should curse no one should curse his own father. They said, who does that, Ya Rasulullah? He said, you curse a man's father and he gets mad at you and then he curses your father. You were the reason that you made him curse your father indirectly. So he told them, don't curse the time, because when you curse the time, you are showing that you're upset and you're disliking the qadr of Allah, the decision of Allah. Be patient. So the kuffar Quraysh used to do that. Another thing that they used to do that was mentioned in the Quran is what is known as an-nasi, is known as an-nasi. إنما النسيء زيادة في الكفر يضل به الذين كفروا يحلونه عاما ويحرمونه عاما ليواطئوا عدة ما حرم الله فيحلوا ما حرم الله. He said that this practice, which is called an-nasi, not riba, this practice of what Quraysh used to do, it is, Allah said, a type of kufr. It's an addition in kufr. What it is that those disbelievers of Quraysh used to go astray because of this practice. What would they do? They would take these sacred months that were in Jahiliyyah and they would respect them, but they would play with the sacred months and they say, okay, this is the month of Muharram, but we're going to not make it sacred this month. We're going to kill this tribe and we're going to fight this time. And we're going to do this and do that. And they would make the month halal to do crazy things in it. Allah said that that's disbelief. This is important. This is critical. Because it goes to show in Western culture and European culture, this is what they do. They play with the time. The way they name the months, the way they deal with the months historically. The leap year, you guys know the leap year, right? They do a leap year where they take days away. They take days out of the month. If my memory serves me correctly, I think they do that in February. February is always the month that they play with. I think it's a conspiracy, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like the month of February has only 28 days, so they make it Black History Month, the shortest month. It's the shortest month. And then they take another day with leap year. But they have something is in that, what they do. The point is, in the summer times, back in World War II, they extended the hour. You know, they made the hour go up, they delayed the hour. That is the haqq of Allah. No human being should mess with the time like that. No one. And it's a sign and the proof, no matter how hard we try, we're not going to get away from the kufr of the kuffar. Until this religion is established by the deen, we're always going to be affected, whether we like it or we don't like it. But in issues like this, we have to be balanced. We have to be balanced. It is what it is. We take note of it and we're aware of it. So the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told them, on this day, after I performed this Hajj, the months have aligned back again. And ever since that day, this thing never happened again. Never happened again. So that's the meaning of that particular hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as well as that ayat that Allah Ta'ala revealed. إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا في كتاب الله يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها 4 حرم ذلك الدين القيم فلا تظلموا فيهن أنفسكم. Verily the number of months with Allah is 11. It was like that the day he created the heavens and the earth. 12. The months are 12. It was like that the day he created the heavens and the earth. From those 12 months, 4 of those months are sacred. So do not oppress yourselves in those months. This is the true religion. This is the true religion. Christianity is not the true religion. Judaism, not the true religion. And although the Yahud, they deal with the lunar calendar, the moon calendar, like the Muslims, they play with their days and they play with their months. They play with their days and they play with their months. And they're not upon what their prophets and their messages brought. So the point here is this issue of the time and Muharram and knowing the months and what's going on is a critical aspect of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he mentioned that, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Very quickly, the ayah said, do not oppress yourselves in those sacred months. That doesn't mean you can oppress yourselves outside of the sacred months, but it means in these months in particularly, we should be more on top of doing the right thing. The way we are in the month of Ramadan. Muharram is sacred. Ramadan is not sacred. Not to take away anything from Ramadan. Dhul Hijjah has the best days in the dunya. Yawm al-Nahr, Yawm al-Qarr. Those are the best days in the dunya. They're better than the days of any other month. So in the month of Ramadan, we are all on a heightened level of awareness in terms of our deen. But in these months, we're not like that. Unless we're making Hajj and you're at Hajj and you feel that type of way. But we have to make the ta'zeem of these months. Try not to get upset. Try to remind each other when we do get upset, when we forget. This is a part of a person's religion. And it's a sign of a person's taqwa and his belief in Allah Azza wa Jalla. So again, we have to try not to oppress ourselves in these months. Like when you do evil in Mecca, it's not like doing evil outside of Mecca. It's not like doing evil outside of Medina. It's not like doing evil outside of Sham or Bayt al-Maqdis. He mentioned in the Quran, Al-Hajj Ashhurum Ma'lumat. فَمَنْ فَرَضَ عَلَيْهِ الْحَجِّ فَلَا رَفَثْ وَلَا فَسُوقْ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ وَمَا تَفْعَلُوا مِنْ خَيْرٍ يَعْلَمْهُ اللَّهُ وَتَزَوَّدُوا. The ayah said that the Hajj is the well-known months. If you want to make Hajj, you can go in Shawwal, the month after Ramadan, and perform Umrah. You can stay if you want until Dhul Hijjah, you could come back. You do your Umrah, you come back later, and then you do your Hajj. Or it's Dhul Al-Qa'dah or Dhul Hijjah. Allah said, anybody who's going to make Hajj, you shouldn't talk lewd. You shouldn't do fisq. And you shouldn't be arguing with people. Why? Only in those? No, all the time. You should be like that. But especially during these months. So that's what the issue and the reminder is so far. That during these months, we have to be on a heightened level of ibadah, awareness, wara, a heightened level of zuhd, taqwa, and it's part of our religion. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as it relates to this month, today is the 8th of Al-Muharram. 8 days have passed by. Tomorrow's the 9th, inshallah, and Tuesday is going to be the 10th. That day, bi'idhnillah, is called the day of Ashura. Ashura. It's an important day in the life of the Muslim, in the life of the Ummah. So we want to remind you, what should we be doing on these days and what should we know about this day? And the Prophet was in Mecca, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for 13 years, calling to Tawheed. He wasn't praying, he wasn't making salat, he wasn't giving zakat, he wasn't fasting Ramadan, and he was not making Hajj. He migrated from Mecca to Medina. He spent 1 year in Medina. In the 2nd year in Medina, Ramadan was made wajib. But prior to that, the Muslims used to fast wajib, the 1 day of Ashura. The Kuffar of Quraysh in Jahiliyyah and in Mecca, they would fast Ashura, the 10th day. Abu Lahab and Abu Jahl. And that's due to the remnants of the dawah of some of the prophets from Bani Israel who used to go to Mecca. They were in Mecca as well. So when Jibril came to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his cousin Waraqa ibn Nawfal, he told Rasulullah, when Rasulullah came to him to ask him and tell him that somebody came to me and said, Iqra, well, I don't know what it is. He said, that was the namus that used to come to Musa. He had knowledge about Musa's dawah. He had knowledge about Jibril. He said that was Jibril who used to come to Musa, and the man was in Mecca because they had knowledge, because that's the house of Allah Azza wa Jal. The Nabi traveled sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he arrived in Medina. Upon arriving in Medina, he found the Jews were fasting, not knowing the ilm al-ghayb. He said to them, Ma hadha al-yawm alladhi tusumunahu. What are you fasting on this day? They said, this is a yawm azim. This is a great day. It's the day that Allah Azza wa Jal anja Musa min Fir'aun. Allah saved Musa and his people from Fir'aun. And Allah drowned Fir'aun and his people. فَصَامَهُ Musa shukra. So Musa took this day as a fast, the 10th of Muharram, giving shukr to Allah Azza wa Jal. When the Prophet heard that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says something that we emphatically stated Friday and will state it here. When he heard the answer, he said, فَنَحْنُ أَحَقُّ بِمُوسَى مِنْكُمْ. We are closer to Musa than you people. Our religion is closer to Musa than what you're doing. You disbelieve in Isa ibn Maryam. You say bad things about Musa and the prophets and the messengers. You are changing your religion. We are following more of what Musa is doing than what you people are doing. Musa didn't make shit. He never said Uzair was the son of Allah. He never did this magic and all of this. He never said that Suleiman and all of that was doing magic. Musa never said that. You people are a problem. So just as Ibrahim is not a Yehudi and is not a Nasrani, Jew or Christian, Musa had Bani Israel. But that religion of theirs, they're not on that religion of Musa. So the Prophet told the people to fast that day, the day of Ashura. But now Ramadan is wajib. So fasting on that day was the Sunnah. It's the Sunnah. And he said about the 10th and fasting on the 10th of Ashura, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said the best fast is the fast of the month of Allah, Shahrullah al-Muharram. So the best non-wajib fast from the fast that are the Sunnah to fast in this month is the best time to fast in this month. But you have to understand, it doesn't mean that Ashura is more virtuous than fasting Arafat or further fasting the 10th of Yom al-Nahr. Doesn't mean that. But in terms of the months and fasting in those months, fasting the month of Al-Muharram is the best fast. But that doesn't mean every day is better than those days, like Arafat and so forth and so on. Because there's dalil that would suggest Arafat is the best day of the dunya. Yom al-Nahr is the best day of the dunya, and Allah knows best. But now the question that presents itself naturally is, the companions used to say, may Allah be pleased with them, that they never saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam fast any month outside of Ramadan the way he used to fast. Which month? Sha'ban. He used to fast Sha'ban 10 days, 20 days. He fasted Sha'ban a lot. So he fasted that more than he fasted Al-Muharram. What's the reason? The scholars say, Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. But they give possible reasons. And these possible ihtimalat, we can't make a jism and say, Wallahi, this is the reason. But it's to make sure in the minds of the people that fasting in Muharram, you get it and you understand these days are more virtuous than fasting in Sha'ban. The scholar said maybe one of the reasons that he didn't fast in the month of Al-Muharram like he did in Sha'ban. Maybe he came to know about it later on in his life. He didn't know about it prior to that. And that happens, that Rasulullah would be asked about things that he didn't know. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like about the ruh. Yas'alunaka an al-ruh. They ask you, what about the spirit, the ruh, ya Rasulullah? Sakata Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He didn't say anything. He didn't start talking and just start guessing. He spoke about those things that he knew. So he, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, could have maybe not known. They said also, if you look at his seerah, he used to travel a lot in the month of Al-Muharram. So having rahmah upon the community, he could have been traveling. Whatever the answer and whatever the reason is, as an ummah, as a Muslim, Abdullah, Amatullah, what we have to know is, and we have to understand, you shabab, you youngsters, fasting in this month is the best month to fast. It is the best month to fast. So you should try to fast it as much as possible. Now, the issue that we want to talk about here today is some of the virtues of the month in addition to what we already mentioned, and that is the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam called this month the month of Allah, Shahrullah al-Muharram. The brothers who are taking the Arabic lessons here, we're going to have this thing that's going to come up called mudaf, al-mudaf, wal-mudaf ilayhi. I don't know English grammar. I don't know what that is in English. What is that called? Al-mudaf, wal-mudaf ilayhi. Like, I don't know. Conjugation is a verb, the way you. Al-Muhim. Al-Muhim, because اختلف النحاة Sibawayh, Ibn Jarir, Farazdaq. Yeah, that apostrophe shows it. That apostrophe shows, yeah. I don't know what it's called though. So mudaf ilayh is like when you say Kitabul Imam, the Imam's book. The Imam's book. Like you say Sayyaratul Rajul, the man's car. That something belongs to the person. Mudaf, al-mudaf, and the mudaf ilayh. When he called al-Muharram Shahrullah, it's that Allah's month. Anytime anything has a connection like that to Allah, it shows the importance, the sharaf, and the virtue of that thing. Like Abdullah, honored to be Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, Abdul Al-Azim. Like Baytullah, for an example, like Kitabullah, like Rasulullah. Anytime you have anything like that, it shows the importance of that thing. Naqatullah, the camel of Allah. Don't bother this camel. You bother this camel, you're going to get destroyed. So anytime something is connected to Allah like that, it shows its virtues. So the Prophet called this month, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Shahrullah al-Muharram, Allah's month. No other month has that name. Not Ramadan. He called them the hadith. He called the month Rajab Mudar. Rajab is a month between Jamada and Sha'ban. He called it the month of the tribe of Mudar. That's not like Muharram being the month of Allah. So that's from the virtues in and of itself, that the Prophet called it the month of Allah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. From the virtues of this month is that when you fast on the 10th day of this month, the day of Ashura, the 10th day, it is an expiation, a kafara of your sins for the upcoming year. When you fast on the day of Arafat, it is a kafara for the upcoming years and for the previous years. So it would appear that fasting Arafat is greater than fasting in Muharram. Although the hadith said the best fast is the fast of the Shahr of Allah, Muharram. But that doesn't mean every day of Muharram, if you fast it, even Ashura, that is better than Arafat, fasting Arafat, or Yawm al-Nahr. So from the virtues of this day is, if you fast this day, it is a kafara for the whole year that's coming. And that's a virtue. That's a virtue. And that's part of the meaning of Allah Azza wa Jal being Al-Kareem. Al-Kareem, the one who gives indiscriminately. He gives more than what you deserve. He gives despite the fact that you don't even deserve it. Subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's Kareem, generous. And he hates al-bukhl. He hates the person who doesn't like to share. He doesn't want to share from what he has, his food, his time. And this is one of the hikmahs and one of the wisdoms why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was chosen to be the final prophet and messenger, because those Arabs, there are no people like the Arabs when it comes to karam as a people inside of their culture. There are no people like the Arabs, even from Jahiliyyah. They're on another level. They're on another level. So if you see an Arab being bakhil, then know something happened to him. Something is wrong. His fitrah, something happened, because it is from their culture to take care of the guest and to give to people. Moving along from the virtues of the month, and this is really important in terms of fasting on that day, we want to mention, and we're done here, inshallah, the different ways of fasting, trying to look for Ashura. It's not difficult, it's not complicated. So you have the best type of fast, and then you have the middle one, and then you have the least one. And that's the one, if you do that one, if you do that one, if you do that one, you'll be forgiven for a whole year. But it's the least one. Some scholars said the least one is disliked. It's makruh. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the people to fast on the 10th. And then the companions started talking. They started saying, Ya Rasulullah, the Yahud are fasting on this day. And it was as if the community didn't want to be like the Yahud. And that's part of al-wala wal-bara. It's part of our wala wal-bara. Lakum deenukum waliyadeen. What does that mean? Not you just have your deen, salat and som. Deen is your way of life. Your way of life. The way you look is different from how I look. And if you go to a Sham, where there are a lot of Christians and Jews in Sham, even over in Sham a long time ago, you would be able to distinguish the Muslims from the non-Muslims. So the Prophet would always want to be different from them. We gave a khutbah here about the adhan and the dream the companions had. Umar and the other companion Zayd radiyallahu anhuma. He said they saw a man blowing a horn. They saw another man hitting the bell. And when they told the Prophet about that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, no, the horn is for the Yahud and the bell is for the Christians. We're going to do the voice, being different from them. Praying towards Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, at the beginning. He used to didn't like that. He used to look in the sky, making dua to Allah. Change our qibla from their qibla. They would shave their lihyas and they would leave their beards. He told them, be different from the Jews. Should leave your beards and trim your mustaches. Be different from the Jews. They don't pray in their shoes. You pray in your shoes. On the day of the Eid, I was going to encourage the community and tell them, listen guys, let's make this an Eid where we're going to pray in our shoes. But I didn't want to be gharib and ajib. I didn't want to make a fitna on that day, because I saw the people were not really looking interested. The people just looked dead. And I wanted to tell them, hey, Let's pray in our shoes, guys, so I can get the reward, Yom Qiyam, because I need them. And people would have looked down at the plastic and they would have said, we're going to get the plastic dirty. So what if we get the plastic dirty? So what? We'll be giving life to a sunnah that we never practice collectively at the day of the Eid. Inshallah, one day, bi'idhnillah. So the way to fast on these days is on the 10th day, you fast on that day only. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard the companions talking about the Yahud fast on this day, he said, if I live to see next year, I'm going to fast a day before it or a day after. He said, if I live for next year, I'm going to fast the 9th, he said. But he died, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before that happened. He died before that happened. But his words are there. So the sunnah is what he said, what he did, and what was done in his presence, and he allowed it. He saw it, and he gave his tacit approval. That's the least. Some of the scholars said that's makruh, because it's a tashabbh with the kuffar, the Yahud. But other scholars say no, because that's what the Prophet did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The second one, better than that, is fasting the 9th and the 10th only, or fasting the 10th and a day after only. We fast 2 days, because that's what he said. And there's a hadith that says, Sumu yawm qabluhu, sumu yawmin qabluhu, wa sumu yawma ba'duhu. Fast the day before it or fast the day after it. So he gave the person a choice. So you can do the 9th and the 10th, and that's it. Or you can do the 10th and then the 11th, and that's it. But the best one is to do the 9th and the 10th and the 11th, because there are authentic hadith where he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sumu yawmin qabluhu wa yawmin ba'duhu. Fast the day before it and fast the day after it. So those are the 3 options on the table. If you're not big on fasting, you're not a big faster, fast 1 day. If you have the wherewithal, the ability, 2 days. And if you want to do the best thing, then the 3 days. And then in addition to that, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's tomorrow is the 9th. Inshallah. Wait, today is the 9th. So we fast on Monday. The 10th Tuesday is Muharram, is the Ashura, and Wednesday is the 11th. Before we take any questions or any corrections or any comments, Baby Beck wrote a message asking, are we going to have a community break fast on Ashura on Tuesday? We're going to have a community break fast. Well, there's nothing scheduled, huh? All right, so that's the answer. There's nothing scheduled for Tuesday and breaking fast. Okay, Akhwani, if you brothers have any questions, inshallah, comments, or other than that, be my guest. تفضل أبا أسماء